All right, guys. Sorry I'm a little late here. Gonna be setting everything back up here real quick. Basically, StreamYard was not allowing me to come into the studio. They were saying that I should should basically restart or something like that. It's like apparently they weren't. They were saying that my browser wasn't allowing me access to the studio for some reason. They thought I should go ahead and turn off or try to shut down all the side screens. So I just restarted. So, anyways, go ahead and pulling these up now. Hopefully everybody's doing all right. I'm ahead and pulling these up. So I'm a little helter skelter here because of this little mix up. But how are you guys doing? Hopefully every one of you is doing okay. I'm just I seem a tad distracted. It's only because, as I said, I'm opening up all the other doors here, basically. That let's see now. 1998. I know what was throwing me off there. Say, how we doing here? All right, guys. I know I'm not speaking much as of yet. I'm just resetting everything, setting everything back up before I can get started here. Hopefully, you're all doing. And I see that Toys is lurking. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, this is kind of the first time in all my streaming where I've had that kind of message pop up before I actually start. So, it's a little disconcerting, as it were. Okay. And yeah, I was late, but not through any fault of mine. There. Cleveland Naps is a good name for a baseball team because I always fall asleep during the. Yeah, actually, Woody, it's kind of funny because before they were the Indians, one of the names that the Cleveland baseball team actually went by was actually the Naps. It was short for Napoleon. It was, I think, in the early 1900s. I think from like 1902 to 1905 or something like that. They originally started out as the Cleveland Blues and then the Cleveland Broncos, and then changed their name to Naps, short for Napoleon. In honor of uh, their second baseman Napoleon LaJoie, who was often called Nap LaJoie, Hall of Famer. So little interesting tidbit there. All right, so everything's set. Everything's back up now. Hopefully, now we won't have any more issues here. That is an interesting tidbit. Thank you, Mike. No problem. I mean, I've been into baseball a little bit before too, into its history too. So I just don't really. I haven't been following it lately, So uh, yeah, so I know we kind of are off to a late start here, guys, due to the some technical issues that rose up from StreamYard. So I apologize for being late, but when I was trying to get going here, I got an interesting little and I do thank you guys for the likes and shares. Does help with the algorithm. Um, yeah, so I was, basically when I tried to, come on and stuff like that, I got a message on StreamYards that my browser wasn't allowing me to to access my camera for some reason. It suggested that I shut down anything like Skype or Zoom, which I wasn't using, obviously. Um, and then if that didn't work, just to restart. So I had to restart, right? At around the time I was usually starting the broadcast. All right, so that basically explains, and I know I probably explained that already a little bit, but I felt like. But anyways, how are you guys doing today? Hopefully everyone is doing well. Hopefully that little glitch won't happen again. Don't even know why it happened in the first place. But anyways. So we're almost at the 10-minute mark here, so I can at least tell you guys. So we do have we have, I believe it'll be 8 stories tonight, all from CBR, 2 comics related, and 6 anime related. Among those include the passing of a longtime Marvel colorist. Let's see, Marvel is also debuting some collections, special collections. And then also, as we look at the anime side of it, let's see. What are some of the things we'll be covering on the anime side of it? Let's see now. Mostly promotional stuff on the anime side of it, of course. Um, let's see. Disney Plus lands some titles for their streaming service. Um, there was a couple of promotional pieces. Let's see. There's a mural, anime mural of a massive kaiju um, over France's National Library. There's also a giant contorable balloon unveiled for the Ghibli Museum. You know that. Some One Piece art that previews the 1,000 episodes epic battle. There's a live action JoJo's Bizarre Adventure spinoff debuting soon, and we'll also be talking about some long lost anime that deserve to be real again. So those are the stories we'll be covering tonight. So there's about 8 of them. As soon as I get everything back to where it should be, we will get started on those articles. Alrighty then. So, anyways, why don't we go ahead and get started on the articles then? Let's see if this thing will let me share stuff. So, all right. So, yeah, it looks like everything's good to go here. So, anyways, let's go ahead and get started with the articles here then. All right, so here's the first one we're going to cover here. Longtime Marvel colorist Andy, I'm going to pronounce it Yankus, passed away at age 77. Andy Yankus, a longtime comic book colorist who worked for Marvel Comics for nearly 20 years, passed away last month at age 77. Article by Brian Cronin, published 15 hours ago. So this guy, so for nearly 20 years, so colorists, I believe, are the guys who actually color the pictures. So here we go. Let's see what this. Let's see what Andy Yankus, a longtime comic book colorist who worked for Marvel Comics for nearly 20 years, including being the company's head of coloring for a number of years, passed away last month at the age of 77. Yankus was a founding member of a New York based group of comic book fans in the 1960s called the Illegitimate Sons of Superman. Okay. A number of these fans made up what we now refer to as the second generation of comic book creators. The ones who actually grew up as fans of comic books, as opposed to the first generation of comic book creators like Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, Will Eisner, Jerry Siegel, Joe Simon, Gardner Fox, and the like, who had grown up reading pulp novels and newspaper comic strips instead of comic books, because there weren't comic books until those creators created them. Mhm. Among the members of the group were future comic book superstars Len Wein and Marv Wolfman, as well as another future comic book creator, Mark Hannerfeld. Wayne and Hannerfeld were the visual basis for DC's horror comic book hosts Cain and Abel. Okay, that's an interesting one, respectively. Yankees' sister, Pat, um, was also a part of the group. In a post by one of the group members, Richard Rubenfeld, professor emeritus of art history at Eastern Michigan University, in tribute to Wayne upon his passing a few years ago, Rubenfeld and Yankus shared this photo of Tisos. Len Wayne is standing in between Pat and Andy. All right. I wouldn't know which. I couldn't tell which one is which, anyways. But And then okay. Pat Yankees, Len Wayne. Len Wayne's the one I guess who's sitting down there. All right. Like a number of fans of the era, while Yankees was a major comic book fan, he was also a big fan of plastic models. And when he graduated from college, he went to work at the Aurora Plastics Company in 1965. So now he was 77, so theoretically that probably means he was born in like 1944. So when he went to the work for, so he was probably like 21 when he went for the work for the Aurora Plastics Company there. So, the most popular plastic model company of the era. He later recalled his 9 years at Aurora to Jim Salicrup in Comics Interview Number 4. I started off in research and development. I started redrawing, model, motoring, track, and plans and proofreading instruction sheets. And it was only a matter of weeks before I was carving plans for model car bodies. Um, Through the years, I worked myself up um, and eventually got to the point where I was project manager and was overseeing the entire development of new kit. A lot of grammar errors here in this writing, so this article. From suggesting the idea and working with artists, sculptors, pattern makers, engineers, tool makers, box people, even instruction sheets, and everything up to and including approving the start of production on an item. However, the plastic model industry was in trouble at the time, and so Yankees left the company soon before it went under in 1977. So it made him about 33, I would say. He turned to his other early love, comic books, and began to get coloring gigs at Marvel Comics. One of the first comics that he colored at Marvel was X-Men number 104, the reintroduction of Magneto, coloring his fellow model kit enthusiast, um, Dave Cockrum. Oh, this might be an example of his work right here. Yankus soon worked his way up to becoming the head of the coloring department at Marvel, along with George Roussos, um, who was specifically in charge of the coloring of Marvel's covers, which were particularly important back in the newsstand days when a cover could make or break an issue. Which is true because you think about that, think about that, now if you can go to a comic book shop or order comic books online, but back then, even back then, back in the 70s and even earlier than that, going even all the way back to the golden age, you'd have to go to your local newsstand. And your local newsstand would have all your like periodicals and magazines and newspapers and all that. You'd go there, you'd pay your whatever it was at the time, 10 cents, 5, 10 cents, and then you'd be able to take it home with you, you know. Um, so that was the case there. Continuing on here. So, yeah, so obviously, chances are if you walked by your local newsstand and, a comic book cover caught your eye, it might increase sales, of course. Um, as the head of the department, he would find and assign jobs to the various colorists for Marvel. Um, check their work for accuracy, and issue pay vouchers. The problem for Yankees came when the individual book editors became more and more involved in the selection of colorists. Eventually, he was no longer selecting colorists for books, and was just checking the books for accuracy, and he figured that he'd just as soon go freelance, so he became a freelance colorist for Marvel, a job he maintained until the early 90s. So basically, as he was losing influence and stuff, he just felt like, something, it's not even worth my time. I'd prefer to just do my own thing. So I'm just gonna just go do my own thing. Yeah. Accuracy in coloring typically means, quote, is this character colored correctly, unquote. And because of his skills in that area, Yankees was the obvious choice to color Mark Gruenwald's epic official handbook of the Marvel Universe. Yankees colored the original handbook, the mid 80s deluxe edition, and the 1989 update in the early 90s loose leaf master edition. So here's the book they're talking about. Looks like official handbook of the Marvel. So he's the one who colored all these characters right here. Among his various coloring assignments, he is perhaps best known as the regular colorist in the early years of the New Warriors, coloring the book from number 2 to number 17. This is not, of course, the New Warriors that we were recently making fun of last year. This is way back, long before that. Later in life, Yankees did consulting work with modeling companies, and he co-wrote the book about Aurora in 2014 called Aurora Master Scenes. The most controversial toys of a generation. Yankees remained a popular figure in the world of modeling and the great model website Scale Model News. Oh, wait, and the great model website Scale Model News reported on his passing last month in a piece by Matt Irvine, who included a few more recent photos of Yankees. So I guess this is what he looked like towards the end there. And have the beard, obviously. Yankees' sister, Pat, now a retired nurse, left her home in Florida to take care of her brother in New York. Yankees maintained an extensive collection of collectibles at his home, which he shared on his Flickr account. During the pandemic, the pair moved to Pat's home in Florida, where she was better situated to care for him. Passed away in Florida on September 11th. So that was this past Monday then. So there we go. Hey, Bat Goat. See that you're here. What's up, Bro Daddies? Weird Al Yankees. Yeah, I can't pronounce. I don't know if I pronounce his name was Andy Yankees. Um, he was a longtime colorist for Marvel. Hey, you back up? Snowflake and no, this guy had nothing to do with Snowflake and Safe Space. Woody, he had nothing to do. I think this what they're talking about is the older New Warriors comic book from a while back, from probably like when I think back whenever it originally started. So, and as always, guys, I do appreciate any and all likes and shares. That does help with the algorithm. Um, Anyways, let's get ready to move on to the next article here. All right, so here's the next. This is the last of the comic articles. All right, so let's see. So here we go. Marvel Penguin Classics debut Prestige Spider-Man Black Panther collections. Spider-Man, Black Panther, and Captain America feature in the upcoming Penguin Classics Marvel collection a new line of prestigious graphic novels. I wonder if this has anything to do with their partnership with Penguin Random House. Article by Henry Verona, published 9 hours ago. So there's some pictures of Black Panther and Spider-Man right there. The heroes of Marvel Comics will be joining the likes of the Odyssey and the Time Machine in a new series of Penguin Classics collections. Penguin Random House, as I thought, announced the Penguin Classics Marvel Collection will celebrate seminal runs in Marvel history, with prestigious new editions spotlighting the works of Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, and more. The paperback releases will feature a black spine and a collectible hardcover editions will have gold foil stamping, gold top stain edges, and bonus illustrations from the comics themselves. Additionally, each story will be prefaced with unique forewords by modern young adult authors and scholarly introductions that contextualize the value of the characters within the literary canon. So basically, I think what they're saying is you're going to have a bunch of English professors giving the forwards to some of these. And it looks like we're still making relatively good time here with 27 minutes here. The Penguin Classic Marvel Collection will launch with 3 titles on June 14th, 2022. The first, so let's see, June 14th, so that's 8 months from now. Exactly 8 months from now. The first of these is The Amazing Spider-Man with a foreword by Miles Morales Spider-Man novelist Jason Reynolds and an introduction by Ben Saunders, who is also the editor of this new line. Next is Black Panther, which features foreword by Wakanda Forever and Shuri writer Nindi Okorafor, with an introduction by Kiana J. Whitted. Then Captain America will include a foreword by Shang-Chi writer Jean Long Yang and Luan Yang, and an introduction by Saunders. Ben Saunders getting a couple of introductions there. Let's see. On the heels of a renewed push for original digital content, this new line of graphic novels reinforces Marvel's physical presence while ensuring that the legacy of past creators will be honored. Speaking on the value of Marvel's library of books, Saunders said, quote, "The comics produced at Marvel in the 1960s can be compared to the most enduring popular music of that same tumultuous decade. It is not hyperbole, but simply a fact. These classic Marvel comics are the foundational documents of our culture," unquote. And of course, the cartoons of the 60s, the Marvel cartoons of the 60s were pretty classic. Particularly, of course, the Grantway Lawrence animation production of Spider-Man. And I think in seasons 2 and 3, they did kind of do the kind of have the whole counterculture influence in the later seasons of that. So Marvel previously announced that the Penguin Random House would be the primary distributor for its comics and graphic novels. Unfortunately, despite plans to prevent damaged product and create a smooth purchasing experience for retailers, the transition came with a fair amount of issues. During the first week of the New Deal, many shops reported that they had missing books and that product they did receive experienced substantial damages. And we did kind of talk about that earlier in the week or last week. Actually, it was earlier this week. Um, Moving forward, the Penguin Marvel Classics collection is set to include other heroes from Marvel's stable of superheroes, supported by an industry wide trend of strong graphic novel sales. This new line is well positioned to grow Marvel's bookstore presence. Vice President of Licensed Publishing at Marvel Entertainment, Sven Larson, said, quote, "It's a remarkable honor to have these important chapters in Marvel history join this esteemed series from Penguin Random House," unquote. So there we go with that one. So I said we do have 8 stories we're going to go through tonight. Already through 2 of them, but that was the last of the. Only 2 of them were comics related, and the rest will be anime related. Let's see what you guys are saying here. So they shot Shat into space, y'all. Yeah, I saw a headline that I think George Takei was a little miffed at that. To him, life is a great big hang up. Wherever there's a big hang up, you'll find the Spider-Man. Oh, okay, I see. Him life is a great big hang up. Wherever there's a hang up, you'll find a Spider-Man. I hear that Shatner came back with a goatee and acting mean to everybody. Anyways. Okay, so anyways, let's get ready to move on to the next set of stories. We have 6 anime stories we're going to go through here. Again, a lot of them just more or less promotional pieces. Here's the first one we're going to go through. All right, so let's see there. Batgoat says Takai is a jerk. Woody. Yeah, it's kind of funny. They were on the same series together, and yet they were like completely. It seems like they were completely opposites. Takai is a very hard. I think he's a pretty hardcore liberal. You know, Shatner does tend to be more conservative. All right. So, anyways, as we let's get ready to move on here to this next article. Here as we're just past the half-hour mark here. Disney Plus lands to Tommy Time Machine, Black Rock Shooter, and more anime. Disney announces that a number of high-profile anime series are coming to its streaming service, including to Tommy Time Machine and Black Rock Shooter. Article by Michael Lacerna, published 13 hours ago. There's several highly anticipated anime series have been licensed to Disney Plus in a surprise move for the 2-year-old streaming service. According to Deadline, Disney has licensed several upcoming anime series for its streaming service, including Tatami Time Machine Blues, Science Saru's sequel to 2010's The Tatami Galaxy, and Black Rock Shooter Dawn Fall, the latest entry into popular media franchise. Black Rock Shooter, I believe, is a video game that also has had some anime production to it. Disney has also licensed the new psychological thriller Summertime Rendering for its service. Summertime Rendering, and they're going to release it here. Well, let's see. Let's see. The 3 new series are currently scheduled to premiere on the streaming service sometime in 2022. Additionally, Disney is also partnering with anime producer Aniplex to create an anime series based on its Twisted Wonderland mobile game. And will also produce Moving, a new superhero series based on the webtoon by King Full. We were king for fighting. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Those kicks were crap as lightning. And it was a little biting. And of course, it's a parody, guys. Hmm. Have a loud mic. Hmm. I know better. Hmm. Yeah. All right. Hmm. Shatner might be a tool. Kai is no better. I don't know. I think, yeah. Don't know as much about that. Anyways, so moving on then, in addition to its new anime offerings, Disney also announced a number of other titles designed to appeal to Asian and Pacific Islander audiences, including Rookies, a rom-com meaning romantic comedy, set within a police academy that stars K-pop idol King Daniel, as well as Blackpink the Movie, a documentary about the internationally popular music group as they celebrate their 5th anniversary of the band's debut. Disney announced over 20 titles specifically to appeal to Asian audiences, including a new series from Taiwanese comedian Chen Bolin, a project by award-winning Indonesian director Joko Anwar, and a new comedy drama series set in West Java. Disney recently experienced success with the debut of Star Wars Visions, an anthology series where every episode was produced by one of Japan's premier anime studios. The show featured shorts from Ghost in the Shell's production IG, Kill La Kill, and SSS, Gridman's studio Trigger, and 2 shorts from Science Saru, the animation studio behind The Night is Short, Walk On Girl, and the upcoming Tatami Time Machine Blues, which Disney just licensed. Disney is following in the steps of several of its competitors who have been investing heavily in international content to fill out the libraries of their streaming services. Netflix recently scored a monumental hit with the South Korean dystopian drama Squid Game, which is now the most streamed title of all time. The streaming giant has also invested heavily in securing exclusive anime titles for its service, including highly anticipated new season of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, as well as a new high school comedy, Comey Can't Communicate. Netflix has seen success by financing anime series of its own, such as Beastars and the latest entry, Ultraman franchise. Despite allegations from animators, the streaming company has been underpaying anime studios. Sony Pictures, which already owned anime distributor Funimation and its streaming service, only paid over $1 billion to purchase Crunchyroll from its former owner, AT&T. Crunchyroll is one of the biggest anime streaming services in the world, with over 5 million paid subscribers and 120 million total registered users. All right, so there we go with that one. Sounds like nothing I'll be watching. Well, I just put the information out there, Bat Goat. What you choose to do with that information, whether you choose to watch it or not, that's on you. That's on you. I just put it out there for people who may want to know. That's why it's called a newscast, right? Newscast with commentary here. Go over these stories so people will know what's going on out there. I don't obviously go over every story, but all right. Here's another promotional piece here. This is something sounded interesting. Massive kaiju number 8 mural appears over France's National Library. All right, so a new video from publisher Kaze, which I believe is the Japanese word for wind, shows a 45-meter tall kaiju number 8 mural being installed on Paris's famous Bibliothèque Nationale de France, basically the French National Library. Article by Michael Lacerna, published 11 hours ago. So here's a look at the mural right here. France is the biggest cosplaying nation right after Japan. A gigantic kaiju number 8 mural has been installed over the Bibliothèque Nationale de France, also known as the National Library of France. A new mural was erected by manga publisher Kaze to promote the premiere of Naoya Matsumoto's giant monster-focused series in the country. The mural stands over 45 meters high. That's pretty tall. And depicts the kaiju giant monster form of the series. Protagonist Kafka Hibino. The National Library of France was established in 1461 and features over 40 million works within its collection. The library has partnered with Kaze to run an art exhibition for the popular shonen manga, which began on October 6th and will open, which was last Wednesday, not yesterday, but the week before, and will be open until October 15th, which is tomorrow. Not that I think I have anybody here from France who'd be listening to this, but never know. Let me just take a quick peek. If you guys are saying anything new. Yeah, just playing it doesn't look good to me. Hope Disney falls on their face. Okay. What's that? Like 10 feet? I don't speak 45 meters. I think that's actually pretty 45 meters. Um Yeah, I can't. I don't know the conversion rate there. I don't speak gay wad euro. 140 feet tall. So basically, 140 feet tall. That's something like, trying to think of who would be a. That'd be like 20 times as high as Shaq. 20 times as tall as Shaq. Shaquille O'Neal. Oh, nice. I was a high school math teacher briefly until my lack of babysitting skills revealed that it was a bad match of a career. Okay. Anyways, getting back to the article here. Kaiju number 8 takes place in a world where Japan is routinely attacked by giant monsters, also called kaiju, and tells the story of Kafka Hibino, a middle aged loser who once dreamed of joining the kaiju fighting Japanese Defense Force with his childhood friend Mina Ashiro. While Mina goes on to become a renowned soldier and JDF commander, Kafka flunks the organization's entrance exam and instead resorts to making a living by being part of the cleanup crew that disposes of the giant monster's dead bodies. Um, after each battle, after each battle, after one such fight, Kafka accidentally ingests um, a small kaiju, which gives him the ability to transform into one of the most powerful monsters himself. Now hunted by the Defense Force and his best friend, Kafka becomes the eponymous Kaiju number 8, quote unquote, and must learn how to master his new abilities so he can become the hero he's always wanted to be. So maybe he's going to become a hero in a different way than he initially thought, huh? The series was created by Naoya Matsumoto in 2020 and has become one of the biggest hits to emerge from Shueisha's Shonen Jump Plus service, which is the online digital manga spin-off of the publisher's popular weekly Shonen Jump print magazine. The digital manga has received over 70 million views, while the collected print editions of the series have sold over 4 million copies worldwide. The series, along with Tatsuya Endo's spy-themed domestic comedy Spy Family, have been credited with helping to establish Shonen Jump Plus and its English counterpart Manga Plus as one of the world's premier digital manga platforms. It was previously announced that the second part of Tatsuki Fujimoto's um, incredibly popular and critically acclaimed Chainsaw Man will move over from print edition Shonen Jump and will make its debut on Shonen Jump Plus. Kaiju number 8 is published in English under the title Monster number 8 and is available digitally on the Manga Plus website and also in print from Viz Media. So there we go with that one. I think we're about halfway through now. I think we got the 4 stories as far as the 8. Um, Leto's here. Hey, Leto. Let's see what you've been saying here. Back goes saying, laugh out loud, Woody. And let's see. Number of them were delightful, and a number them needed their little necks to be ringed. Yeah, when you're feeling that way, Woody, it's probably not a good idea to be a teacher. Hey, Mike, Bat Goat, Woody, and toys. All right. Yeah, Leto, I actually watched your Superman video right before I got started here, like a few minutes before I got started, before I had some of the issues come up at the beginning. But yeah, and I that was a pretty funny joke at the end you put on there. Uh, and I do thank you guys for all the likes and shares. That is appreciated. Help get some more um, friendly people in here. Let's see. I'll bet I can't imagine doing that job. Hey, Leto from backup. Driving to work as always, but I'll be listening. Okay. What's up, Batgoat? Make it a good show. I always try to do, albeit as Woody and Tori can tell you guys, had a bit of a late start because I had some issues with StreamYard, which I hope will be resolved. Hopefully I don't have the same problem ever happen again, but never know. Anyways, so now let's get ready to move on to the next article here. Another promotional piece right here. Giant Totoro balloon unveiled for Ghibli Museum's 20th anniversary. So 20th anniversary, which means they probably started up back in 2001. So a giant balloon of Studio Ghibli's beloved mascot now floats over Studios Museum as the repository celebrates its 20th anniversary. Now, if I understand correctly, this might be the character they created in the movie My Friend Totoro. So might be that same Totoro. Article by Michael Lacerna published 10 hours ago. The Ghibli Museum has revealed a new larger than life Totoro balloon, which has been installed on the museum's grounds as part of the celebration surrounding the 20th anniversary of the museum's original opening. The Ghibli Museum in Mitaka, West Tokyo, has posted a video of the balloon being inflated and anchored into place. The balloon was part of the festivities surrounding the museum's 20th anniversary party, which was held on October 1st. Over 1,300 residents of the surrounding Mitaka neighborhood were invited via raffle to attend the event. The Ghibli Museum originally opened in 2001 and features artwork from across Studio Ghibli's oeuvre, um, as well as an interactive exhibits such as life-size recreation of the cat bus from My Neighbor Totoro, and a sculpture of one of the robots from Castle in the Sky. The museum also hosts regular screenings of Studio Ghibli's movies. The 20th anniversary celebration comes just months after the museum was almost shuttered. Like many other tourist attractions throughout Japan, the Ghibli Museum was forced to close for several months throughout the first half of 2021 due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. According to the museum's organizers, the loss in revenue from these extended closures meant that the museum could not afford its maintenance cost and was facing a possible permanent closure. A local crowdfunding campaign was established by the residents of Mitaka City in July to help save the museum, which raised more than double of the $90,000 goal that was required to keep the museum's doors open. Well, that's good for them. The museum is once again open to the public, but only a limited amount of visitors are allowed in per day, and visitors will need to pre order their tickets in advance in order to be let in. International travel to Japan continues to be restricted due to the pandemic, but anime fans in the United States will be able to experience the Ghibli exhibit of their own at the recently opened Academy Museum of Motion Pictures in Los Angeles. The Academy Museum is hosting a retrospective exhibition on the works of Ghibli's most famous director, Hayao Miyazaki. The exhibit will feature rarely seen production and design materials from many of Miyazaki's movies, including Academy Award winning Spirited Away. A catalog featuring many of these materials is also being published by the museum. Fans looking forward to the next Studio Ghibli movie might have to wait a while longer, as Miyazaki is still working on the next animated feature, How Do You Live? The movie is based on the classic 1937 novel by Yoshino Genzaburo, um, which is a personal favorite of the director. The novel will be localized and released in the English for the first time this fall, with a foreword by Sandman author Neil Gaiman. How Do You Live began production in 2016, and Studio Ghibli's estimates that it will be at least another 3 years before the film is. Whoa, 3 years! Whoa, whoa! Yeah, that's quite a long time to wait. Anyways, um, before I move, I've got to step away from the computer for a couple minutes here. I'll be right back, guys. Right, I'm back. See, yeah, let's see. Weird that I have to have the desire to visit Japan. Wait. Is it weird that I have no desire to visit Japan? It holds no interest for me. Okay, Hangman, no way. That's tomorrow. Yes, that's tomorrow. Hopefully, we won't have the problems we had before I started tonight. So I'll take an E. Is the word dementia? You win. The word was E. That's a good one. Can't use it now, though. Laugh out loud. All right, so we have 5 people in here, so that's cool. Good to see 5 people watching. So, anyways, let's get ready and move on to the next story then here. What time is it? Oh, we're just past the hour mark. So there we go. So and I think we've only got what? Let me just quickly see how many more stories you got here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we got 3 more stories here, so we're making good time. It looks like. But let's go ahead. Another promotional piece here, in the pesky DBR thing here. Okay, so here we go. Jaw-dropping One Piece art previews 1,000th episodes epic battle. Newly released art from the One Piece anime series depicts more from the Straw Hat Pirates clash with Beast Pirates on Onigashima by Michael Lacerna, published 9 hours ago. So I guess here's some of that new art they may be talking about. Interesting stuff there. New art has been released to promote One Piece's upcoming 1,000th episode. The new art was revealed on the official One Piece website, which also teased further announcements and celebrations as the show neared its big 1,000th episode milestone. The new illustration expands on the previously released teaser image. Luffy and the Governor General Kaido are still doing battle in the center of the image. But the new art now features the rest of the Straw Hat Pirate crew and their opponents, the Beast Pirates. The 2 competing bands of pirates will clash in the epic battle of Onigashima, which will be depicted in the currently airing season of the One Piece anime. That's the one that's over in Japan, I believe. The landmark 1,000th episode of the series is currently scheduled to air in Japan on November 21st, barring any unforeseen delays. There's some more of the right. 2021 has been an eventful year for Ichiro Oda's One Piece franchise. In addition to the upcoming 1,000th episode, the manga published its 1,000th chapter earlier this year and also released its 100th collected volume this summer, which immediately managed to sell over 1 million copies in Japan within the first week of release. The new volume cemented One Piece's place as the best-selling manga series of all time. The manga has almost 500 million copies in circulation worldwide, and it was recently revealed that each of its 100 volumes have sold at least 1 million copies individually. That's a pretty successful thing right there. Weekly Shonen Jump published Shueisha has celebrated the series' recent milestones a number of ways. In a number of ways, I guess is what it's supposed to say. Over the course of the year, the company released special quote unquote cover chapters of Oda's manga that were redrawn by other popular manga creators and also produced the quote unquote We Are One videos, a series of live action shorts that explored the cultural impact of One Piece on multiple generations of fans. The quote unquote We Are One shorts also featured newly reanimated scenes of the series' most iconic moments. One Piece was created by Eiichiro Oda in 1997, and despite now being over 24 years old, that's a long series there. They could be right up there with The Simpsons. It still continues to dominate the best-selling manga charts and anime, which debuted in 1999, still continues to top Japanese TV ratings. Despite the franchise's continued growth in popularity and acclaim, Oda has hinted that Luffy's long journey may finally be nearing its conclusion. Well, you guys know what they say, right? All good things must come to an end at some point. Um, An advertisement for the 100th volume recently stated that the series has begun its quote unquote final stage. And I know that's been going on for a while now. While the beloved anime and manga may soon reach their climax, One Piece may catch a second wind with its upcoming live action TV series, which is being produced by Netflix and Tomorrow Pictures. The the studio that is also behind the upcoming live action Cowboy Bebop remake. Let's hope that, well, let's probably doubt it, but let's just hope that they don't SJW this one either. They don't woke this one into the ground either. The new series will be executive produced by Oda. So if he's going to be the one, well, he may not be SJW then. He might not take too kindly to them trying to pull what they pulled with Cowboy Bebop. So that might be good. Let's see, had to put in appeared on ear warmers while golfing today. Well, you're up in the North Star State, Batco, right? So things are gonna get cold pretty quick for you up there, huh? As we get further into fall and into winter. Jorel to Cal-El to Cal LGBTQ. Oh boy. Ay, 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 oh, sole mio, o quiero ya no wada wadi, o yo monana wada day. I know there's more than two people watching because Batgoat, Woody, and myself. That makes at least three of us. I would think that um, toys might still be lurking, and we know that Leto's listening. Really, we should have five people, but the counter only said, well, the counter now goes back up to three. Anyways, now let's move on to the next article. We got two more to go through here. So, live action JoJo's Bizarre Adventure spinoff debuts new image. The Japanese live action adaptation of Hirohiko Araki's Thus Spoke Rohan Kishibe manga has released a new image of the series hero. Article by Michael Cerna, published 8 hours ago. Now remember, Rohan Kishiba here is the guy who, with his stand, can basically can look into people's lives as if they were books. He can literally turn them into a book, and their skin actually comes off, and like he opens them up, and they look like pages of a book being torn open. He can also manipulate people by writing in those books. So, anyways, a new image from the live action adaptation of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure spin off, Thus Spoke Rohan Kishibe manga, has been released. The new image was released alongside the announcement that the next 3 episodes of the live action miniseries will air on 3 consecutive nights on the Japanese NHK General Network from December 27th to the 29th. The live action Thus Spoke Rohan Kishibe series originally premiered in Japan last December with a run of 3 episodes. The series is directed by Kazutaka Watanabe and is written by Yasuko Kobayashi, who also serves as a writer for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure anime. The series is a live action adaptation of the multiple Rohan Kishibe spin off manga one shots, which were all written by series creator Hirohiko Araki. Yes, that's the guy who's representing Rohan Kishibe right there. Who plays him in the live action show. The image showcases actor the eponymous Rohan Kishibe, a manga author and the user of the stand Heaven's Door, which has the ability to transform his targets into books. Kishibe originally appeared as an antagonist and later allied to the heroes in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fourth part Diamond is Unbreakable. The character has been described as the alter ego of the manga's creator Araki. Kishibe, I think it's supposed to be Kishibe, is portrayed by Issei Takahashi, a popular Japanese actor who previously appeared in the live-action adaptations of Ikebukuro, Westgate Park, and March Comes In Like a Lion. Takahashi will be joined by Marie Itoyo, who starred in the live-action Anohana special. Kamen Riders Drives Ryo Uchida will join the cast in this new run of episodes. While the international release of the live action Thus Spoke Rohan Kishibe has yet to be announced, JoJo fans still have plenty to look forward to the next season of the anime, which will adapt the Stone Ocean arc from Araki's manga. It's scheduled to stream exclusively on Netflix this fall, and Araki has already confirmed that the long running manga series will continue with Part 9, tentatively titled JoJo Lands. After the creator finishes a short break, the manga's eighth part JoJo Lion recently came to an end after a decade in serialization. Spin-off of Araki's pre-JoJo Quill Shock BT was also announced. First chapter of Hirohiko Araki's hyper-stylized opus debuted in 1987. So wow, that's 34 years ago, and has continued through 8 different parts, each focusing on a different era, time, and a different descendant of the Joestar family. Yeah, and if you guys have ever watched the anime, one of the interesting things they do with the anime, particularly with the end songs, is they actually use uh, uh, they use actually a major hit, or somewhat of a major hit as the end themes for. So I know, like for example, I think in Diamond is Unbreakable they used Savage Garden's ooh do I know if I need you, but ooh I'm dying to find out. I know in one of the earlier JoJo series they used one of the Yes's Roundabout. They used Yes's Roundabout for an end theme as well. So it's a little interesting tidbit right there. The series has become a worldwide cultural phenomenon, with the manga managing a circulation of over 100 million copies worldwide. Okay, so there we go. Okay. So now to finish up the main stories, let's see, where are we at on time here? Hour and 16. So we're doing pretty good on time, even though I did kind of get started late here. A tad late, but anyway, so one last main article before we finish up for the night. And this one might take us a few minutes, but 5 long lost anime that deserve to be real again. Some of the best anime were wasted potential or forgotten footage. Here are 5 that either never made it to production or never even aired. Article by Chase Wilkinson, published. So these are animes that should have been but weren't. Based on one of the following article contains a brief discussion of suicide and self harm. Probably the plot point of one of the anime, but let's go ahead and the first animated film released in Japan, and therefore the first anime, had an estimated release in late 1960 or very early 1917 by Shimokawa Oten. It was made with chalk and less than 5 minutes long. Since then, anime has become a worldwide sensation. Unfortunately, along with the series that became successful mega hits, there are those that never even made it to post production or were removed from public access entirely. Here are 5 animes that could have been a big hit, but were unreleased, unfinished, or simply had its episodes removed or banned. Ghost Stories, um, Kuchisake Onna, unaired 2000 episode. Yeah, Ghost Stories was an anime that pretty interesting. In Japan, it didn't really funny because Ghost Stories was an anime that in Japan didn't really wasn't really successful. So when ADV licensed it, the Japanese in a rare instance, the Japanese just told them, you know something, you can do whatever you want with it. Whatever you want with it, go ahead and do. And it ended up being actually more. The dub actually ended up being more successful than the original series because basically it wasn't that successful in Japan. But when ADV got hold of it, you know, it actually ended up becoming actually ended up being a big success as a dub. One of those rare occasions where that actually happens. So, anyways, let's look at what they have to say about this particular episode. So, this was an unaired 2000 episode of Ghost Kuchisake Onna. Ghost Stories, also known as Ghost at School, is a Japanese horror anime series based on books by Toru Sumemitsu. The series follows Satsuki Miyamoshita, who moves with her family to the hometown of her deceased mother. Joined by some friends with a penchant for the paranormal, Satsuki visits an abandoned school building and discovers it is haunted. As the danger soon threatens to envelop the town, it becomes the responsibility of Satsuki and her friends to put an end to the hauntings. Mhm. An unaired episode, quote, Am I Beautiful Kuchisaki Onna, unquote, sparked some controversy prior to its release from a preview that featured Kuchisaki Onna. For those unfamiliar, Kuchisaki Onna is a popular urban legend in Japan. Translated as, in smaller quotes, the slit mouthed woman. That might be what they meant by suicide and self harm. Kuchisake Onna, according to folklore, would stalk around in a large overcoat with a surgical mask, asking children if she was beautiful or not. Despite their reply, she would normally kill them, but only after revealing her horrifyingly disfigured mouth slit from ear to ear. Well, yeah, that's I could see why there'd be a big problem with that one. Scheduled to air in Japan on November 5th, 2000 as Ghost Stories, third episode, it was completed and even previewed as an upcoming episode, but was ultimately pulled before airing after a barrage of complaints from parents worried that her disfigurement would look too much like a cleft palate. Oh, okay. It is unknown if the episode will be released in the future, nor whether Fuji TV even has a copy itself. Any rumors of of this episode having aired once are untrue. As of now, the only footage from Am I Beautiful Kuchi Saki Onna um, that has been sent that has been seen by the public is contained in the above 15-second preview. What they're talking about is this up here. And of course, I doubt very seriously there probably is no dub version of that trailer either, that preview either. What I'm guessing. Actually, if it is a preview, then I don't know. Maybe they have it, maybe they don't. If this was supposed to be the third episode, might be a preview from at the end of the second episode. But all right, Part Two: Paragate, unreleased 2004 anime film. To Paragate. Okay. Tattoo Paragate was an anime movie set for release in 2004 based on the at the time popular pop group Tattoo. Oh yeah, I think if I'm correct in this, I think this is the group that may have done I'm not completely sure, but this may be the group that did Victoria's theme back in the WWE back around that time as well. I think they had that song. Um, all the things you said running through my head, running through my head, running through my head, running through my head. All the things you said running through my head, running through my head. So let's see. It was announced in. Now I don't know if that is any connection to it or not, but I just find that interesting. It was announced in 2003 and was to be animated by iMove, which did animation work on Death Note and Inuyasha, among other popular 2000s anime. However, in early 2004, the Tattoo duo broke their contract with their manager, Ivan Shapovalov, who they claimed was too concerned with drumming up scandals for Tattoo, and allegedly based the duo's image off of the Josei Kosei erotic genre. After the contract split, the Tattoo Paragrate film ended up being shelved and its website was deleted in 2005. The girls of Tattoo split in 2011, saying they were, quote, very tired of each other, unquote, making it very unlikely Tattoo Paragate um, will ever be released. Yeah, I don't. Again, I'm not completely sure if that's the same group. I think it is the same group that did Victoria's song back in the 2000s. There. Let's see. Semblance between a cleft palate and a slit from ear to ear across the mouth. I can't see it, but taking offense to everything is for glory. Everybody is the princess and the pea. Yeah. Well, the idea of it being a cleft palate wasn't the thing that I hit upon. I just figured it's one of those, if it's that kind of disfigurement, probably wasn't something a lot of parents would want their children to see. Not necessarily whether or not it's because it's a cleft palate or whatever, but just something, any kind of, any kind of facial disfigurement is usually not viewed as a very nice thing for children to see. I think that's where I think the issues would have really lied, but again, I could be wrong. Kingdom Hearts, unfinished and canceled Disney show. See what this one has to say. Shortly after its smash hit release, the beloved popular Disney Japanese RPG video game series, Kingdom Hearts, was going to have its own animated series on the Disney Channel. However, Disney turned down the project in the early drafted pilot because they thought it was, quote unquote, incredibly dark for a show for its channels and audience. In 2014, the creative posted storyboard panels of the supposed pilot on the DeviantArt, and a YouTube user by the name of Brandon Gonzalez interviewed Kersley about his past project. Fans hold on to hope that Disney will have a Kingdom Hearts series air one day, especially since Gravity Falls became a popular series even with its dark and morbid premise. As for now, the only thing that exists in the Kingdom Hearts anime is the storyboard pictures, the earlier drafts of the show. Pokemon. Now, Pokemon's had a number of banned episodes. The most notable one, of course, is the Electric Showdown Porygon episode, because it sent a lot of kids to the hospital because of the strobing effect. They've had some of the Jinx character for a while. That was like banned or censored as well. So, Pokemon, it's New Year's Eve, Pocket Monsters Encore, 1997 unaired episode. Let's see what they have to say here. Scheduled to air on December 31st, 1997 in Japan, was a 1 hour Pokemon New Year's special titled It's New Year's Eve Pocket Monsters Encore. It was believed by many to be the anime's intended 40th episode, but it was canceled before broadcast. This occurred during the rescheduling that followed the infamous Electric Soldier Porygon incident, in which I just alluded to, in which bright pulsating lights caused nearly 700 Japanese children to be hospitalized after suffering epileptic seizures. Its New Year's Eve Pocket Monsters Encore has never aired in any country, and no further information, trailers, or screenshots have surfaced. However, another 2-hour New Year's special, it's the New Year Pocket Monster special, aired 2 years later and may have used material originally created for the 1997 special. Yeah. May have just been one of those things where so much was going on, it just kind of got lost in the shuffle. Hmm. And we're coming up on an hour and a half. This is the last main article of the night. So I do thank you guys for being here, and I thank you guys for all the likes and shares. Um, Alive, the final evolution, existence unconfirmed. What this is all about. Alive, the final evolution is a manga series written by Tadashi Kawashima and illustrated by Adochi Toka. Adachi Toka. When an extraterrestrial flies toward Earth, after sensing life, it becomes known the alien is composed of souls who are granted immortality but prefer to die. Except they could not do so without a body. These beings separate from each other and enter the bodies of humans in order to pursue death. As a result, a large number of people began to commit suicide worldwide, and the incident became known as Nightmare Week. Here's the other thing about the suicide I mentioned. In February 2010, Kawashima finished writing the series from his hospital bed as the final chapter was being published in the March issue of Monthly Shonen magazine. Although he passed away shortly after, an anime adaptation for Alive: The Final Evolution was planned to be produced by Studio Gonzo and co-produced by Anime International Company. But it was canceled due to Gonzo being delisted from the Tokyo Stock Exchange. It is unknown to this day if the pilot or any known storyboard exist. For more information on the warning signs, prevention of suicide. Okay, I'm gonna read that. I'll just leave that up right there. I'm sure you all have seen this before. Anytime there's any talk of suicide or anything like that, people will usually put this little PSA up. So anyway, so that's it, guys. That's all the major stories for tonight. And I do know it says we're just past the hour and a half mark, and I know it's actually closer than an hour 45. For those of you who weren't here earlier, we had some technical issues at the start, and I started a little late. So, and the thing's now saying I only have one viewer, but I think I have more than one viewer. I think I'd have more than one viewer. Um, but anyways, so why don't we go? So if you guys are ready, why don't we go ahead and start wrapping up here? Are you guys ready for this day in each history? Um, and as I said before, are you guys ready to wind up here? So, you guys ready for this day in each history? And we're back up to three people, of course. All right. Well, I guess people are not. Maybe they're lying down or whatever. But, anyways, guys, we're going to start to go ahead and wrap up here. So, today being Thursday, October 14th, 2021, let's take a look back at this day in each history. And the first stop we're going to head back 25 years ago today, as on this date in 1996, from the Mid South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee, which had been for a long time the home of Memphis area wrestling events every Monday night, um, throughout the 70s, throughout the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Um, Initially part of the NWA Mid America territory, and then they broke away and formed the Continental Wrestling Association, and then the Championship Wrestling Association. So on this date in 1996, from the Mid South, WCW held its Monday Night Raw or Monday Nitro event, WCW Monday Nitro event. The main event saw Harlem Heat and the Faces of Fear um, fight to a no contest. I believe the NWO interfered in that match. Also on the night saw Jeff Jarrett defeat Big Bubba Rogers. Um, Eddie Guerrero defeated the Cheetah Kid, who I believe at the time was also an independent wrestler in the mid Atlantic area. Lex Luger defeated Greg Valentine. Hugh Morris defeated Jim Powers, who was being managed at the time by Teddy Long. Jim Duggan defeated Michael Wall Street, and to start off the night in a cruiserweight match here, Dean Malenko defeated Brad Armstrong. So on this date, 25 years ago today, WCW held its Monday Nitro event. So, anyways, so now moving on to the next piece of niche history. As on this date in 1998, which was 23 years ago today, the 560th issue of Batman went on sale on this date in 1998. The story was The Jackals, written by Chuck Dixon, penciled by Jim Aparo, inked by David A. Roach. Todd Klein did the lettering, and Lee Luffridge did the coloring. So, on this date in 1998, the 560th issue of Batman went on sale on newsstand for, of course, $1.99 or just under $2. It's 32 pages long. You guys must be sleeping because I don't see anybody else talk. I guess there are still three of us watching, but that's about it. Anyway, so moving on to the next. Moving on to the next. Sorry here. Next piece of niche history. Oh, Woody, you're sleeping? Is that what you're saying? I know. Yeah, and I'm gonna say that because I know chances are the only people who are here right now are Batgoat and Woody. Um, Woody, and you can answer me at any point. I actually have been thinking about moving the mic stand to an hour earlier. So I was wondering how you would feel about that. Would you still be able to catch the show if I did move it instead of starting at 7 Pacific, um, 10 Eastern? If I started at 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern, would that make it easier for you to watch? Anyways, I'll be right back because Chloe's barking again, so I gotta go tend to her real quick. I'll be right back. Oh yeah, that would work for me. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I don't know when I'll do it, but I've been thinking about it for some time. Obviously, partly due to some of the issues we were having before, but also I was thinking that it might help you guys be able to stay awake through more of the broadcast, and also it might help to draw in a few more people. So, anyways, I'm still thinking about it though. But anyways, let's get back to see if I can get this all finished up here. So, continuing on with the history. On this date, back in 2006, 15 years ago today, the Digital Frontier produced anime film um, At a Goal, Cat's Magical Forest premiered on this date in the CG animated film premiered on this date in 2006. So 15 years ago today, the anime film At a Goal, Cat's Magical Forest would premiere on this date in 2006. So there's that one, and then one last piece of one last piece of history to touch upon, and we'll wrap up. And that happened 10 years ago today in on this date in 2011. Uh, Peep and the Big Wide World and Superhero Squad show would end their runs on the respective networks. Peep and the Big Wide World would complete its run on PBS Kids, and then Superhero Squad would complete its run on Cartoon Network. So, um, so those two shows, Peep in the Big Wide World and Superhero Squad, would end their runs on this date in 2011, 10 years ago today. So anyway, so there we go with that. I thank you guys again for being here. tomorrow night is our weekly look back at comics history. Batgoat, if you're in here, just know this. I'll send you the StreamYard link earlier in the day. We'll be looking at comics that went on sale in June of 1938. Be looking at comics that went on sale from Dell and Centaur. I thank you guys for being here tonight. I thank everybody for all the likes and shares. It's really appreciated. Thank you again, and I hope to see you all back here tomorrow night. Anyways, bye.